Hello. How's it going, chat? Have you had a nice day? Because if not, I'm going to make it nicer. Going to entertain all of you today. All of you, every single one. I see new people in the chat as well. I see Emerald Wolf. Never saw an Emerald Wolf before. This is my first time. And also, Zantetsu, welcome back. I have regulars as well. So, we're going to be talking about artificial intelligence today. Total Biscuit, do you guys remember him? I remember him. And his wife, well, his widow actually, has decided to contemplate on whether or not she should remove all of his videos from the internet. Because she doesn't want people to use some of the new artificial intelligence that imitate people's voices. Like, if you guys have looked at the... holy shit, I got a pink super chat. I haven't had a pink super chat in ages. Why, thank you, Henry. Thank you so much. So, anyway. There has been an AI which makes, like, those presidents play video games with each other. If you guys know what I mean. And the widow of Total Biscuit is afraid that people are going to use his voice in those types of videos. And I think that she doesn't understand the internet. Like, first of all, I understand where she's coming from, right? Like, not everyone wants to hear the voice of someone that they lost, especially if it's not really their voice. Like, it's not really theirs, so I respect that. But by now, people probably have downloaded his videos, right? So even by removing them from the channel, it's not going to change the fact that, well, his voice is almost everywhere on the internet. Like, he was a very famous person during his time. And secondly, when you say that, when you tell the internet your weakness, when you go on the internet and you say, I wouldn't like it if this was done to me, and especially if you follow it up by a censorship statement, yeah, I'm pretty sure you're going to get the voice of Total Biscuit now. Like, there is someone somewhere that is making it happen. And what can you do? You know, in a way, I understand that it's not nice. I wouldn't do it. But he is a public person. He is in the public domain. I mean, it's not something that you can prevent. I guess it's going to be up to her not to listen to it. I mean, it's not like you can stumble upon it by mistake. I mean, the internet is very well it's made into tiny compartments, and it's very difficult to click on something that you don't know what it is. Unless, like, you have, like, some specific asshole that targets her, but, like, that would be harassment, and she can flag and report it. There are voice packs he made for the game, yes. Like, Total Biscuit is a very famous individual. Despite the controversy, you know, like, some people do not agree with some of the things he said. I don't agree either. But he was a beloved content creator. He had many followers. I think, like, millions of followers at this peak. And I do respect his wife, I gotta say, because the first thing that she did after he passed away was to enable comment section on his videos. Total Biscuit, for a long while, decided to remove all of the comments because they were negative. So the first thing the wife goes, it's like, all right, well, I'm going to enable all of the comments. And she did, despite the fact that at the time there were many progressive individuals, many social justice activists, which were cheering the fact that he passed away. Very bizarre, especially since Total Biscuit was a very progressive individual himself. I mean, he was all about public health care, and he was all about transgender rights. Man of the future. He was on the right side of history before the history happened. Like, I remember during the trap controversy, he was very upset. Right? Like, he was very pro-trans rights. I'm telling you, a man of the future. Was taken away from us way too fast. But despite all that, social justice activists were still happy when he passed away. So it is what it is. No, she removed the disabilities from the comments. Is that an AI voice of me? I think anyone can do it, right? Like, there are a couple of websites where you can go, and all you need to do is to give a particular voice. I mean, you need like probably not even that. like a 1 or 2 minute recording of someone talking, and that's it. You got the voice, and the AI will take care of the rest. The fear of death made him turn pretty far left. I don't know what happened, man. Like, I can't tell, like, what makes a person change their ideology or, you know, adopt a new ideology. But he did change his mind. Now, let's talk about the DeSantis. Florida. Oh my god, I love this. People are saying it's fascismus. It is fascismus. Florida revoke Hyatt Regency Miami license after sexually explicit show with children. Governor DeSantis. I'm starting to like him more and more, by the way. I'm starting to like him more than Trump. I know it might upset some people. But it's difficult to choose. It is. Like, he is savagely going after CRT, after a lot of nonsense from the left. I mean, Florida is a very nice state. And the thing is, like, the media doesn't really have anything against... doesn't have a tactic against him. So I kind of like him. Yeah. Preferably, Trump would get another 4 years. And then DeSantis would get 8. But I understand he is running for presidency. So it's going to be interesting. Now, he wants to revoke the license from a bar because his administration is revoking this for hosting a sexually explicit show with children present. The administrative complaint said that minors younger than 16 years of age were at the show where performers appeared on stage wearing sexually suggestive clothing and prosthetic female genitalia. Now, what's interesting is that I have seen on Twitter people defending this. I don't understand, like, why would you defend it? Right? Like, it's so fucking bizarre. Usually, when you talk about something that the woke believe in, they're like, well, it doesn't affect you. Why do you care? Like, this is literally the counter-argument, right? It doesn't affect you. Why do you care? And for some fucking reason, like, something that literally doesn't affect them. Right? Like, why would you want people younger than 16 to be inside a bar where they're doing lewd things in front of them and there's alcohol? Why would you want that? Like, seriously, ask yourself the question, because it's weird. I genuinely, like, do not understand, right? It's other people's children. Like, I even saw it's like, well, people are against drag queens. They're not against drag queens. No, they're just against, like, drag queens being in front of children. It's like, it's one of the most bizarre, you know, positions to have. Like, even when it comes to drawings of cartoons, I can understand, like, why some people would complain. Like, if you're a developer and you want to know exactly, like, okay, so, like, I want to make a video game that goes on Steam, and I want to know exactly, like, what type of art style is allowed and what type of art style isn't. Like, I want, like, clear-cut rules so I can know exactly how to make my characters. Because there have been games where the characters, despite being adult, I mean, they're adult-looking, and within the lore, they're also over 18. Some Steam moderator would look and, this looks like 17 to me. You know, like, for example, what's her name? The one that wants to hang out. Fuck, I forgot her name, but you know who I'm talking about. Something with ooh. Why did I forget right now? Holy shit. I'm a little bit panicking, like I might be suffering from Joe Bidenitis. Uzaki. Uzaki wants to hang out. Okay. Right? Like, people were saying that she's underage, despite clearly not being. Hold on. I will show you a picture of Uzaki-chan. Right? So, this is Uzaki-chan. Right? Now, within the lore, she's over 18. Her drawing looks like she's a mature individual, but some people would look at this and they would say, well, Doesn't look mature to me, right? So if you're a person that wants to make video games on Steam, you might say, well, I need like clear-cut definitions. Because I understand like the controversy in that, right? Like there is something to discuss. It affects people's businesses. Like usually a video game costs more than $30,000 to make. People who make video games invest a lot of money, and they're like, all right, well, I want to know what is a lolly and what isn't. Like I want to know for sure so that when I draw it, right, there is no mistake, because I don't want to draw lollies. I want to draw like real adult women. But because it's a drawing, some people might make the mistake of not understanding. Perfect. I understand that argument. But when it comes about like allowing children to be in the presence of drag queens, right, especially if the parents don't want it, I don't understand, like, why are you for it? Like, what do you gain? Who is being discriminated? Is it the child being discriminated for not being allowed to be in the presence of the drag queen? Or is the drag queen being discriminated for not being able to be in the presence of children? Like, when is the discrimination happening? Right? Like, this is the question. Now, according to Marxist ideology, and unironically, I'm going to tell you that they believe the child is being discriminated because without the child being exposed to that type of situation, they grow up to be bigots. Right? Rated R for hand-holding. Yeah, Ballcraft, I know. Like, she's not even a 33,000-year-old vampire. It is a problem because, well, I got into the game development community, and yeah, like, game developers are worried that their product might be banned from Steam, and they invest a lot of money, right? And they want to know, like, because they don't want to draw the 3,000-year-old vampire. Like, no, they just want to know if their character, which looks cute and adorable, is allowed or isn't. Because according to the lore, she is over 18. According to them, they draw her over 18, but if a moderator looks at it, it's subjective, right? We're not talking about, like, 5-year-old. We're talking about the difference between 17 and 18, which is, when it comes to cartoons, right? If you ignore the lore, it's very difficult to point out. But I do understand the discussion there. I do understand why people are upset, right? Because, well, if you like video games, you probably care about the video game developers. You don't want them to lose money. You don't want them to lose time. It's understandable. But when it comes about Drag Queen Story Hour, I do not understand it. I just do not. Like, why are people defending that? There was an ancient vampire lolly in Skyrim. Oh, there's a lot of ancient vampire lollies in Western media. True Blood had one. Blade had one. Like, this is actually a huge trope. I guess it's like the idea of something that's supposed to be innocent and powerless, like a child, is actually incredibly strong, right? Like, you talked about that character in Skyrim, True Blood, right? But Blade, I think Blade was actually one of the most popular ones. And I remember, like, she used to like to drink baby blood, right? Like, there is this scene where she's, like, in a limo, and they bring her a baby so that she can drink its blood. And then there's Supernatural. Like, Supernatural had a demonic entity in a child. I believe it was Lilith, right? So it's not like that uncommon for the Western media either. It depends. But of course, it's the context. It's many other things. Yeah, vampire lollies are very common in Western media as well. I'm trying to think about cartoons, but can't think of any. So anyway, right, people want to know, right? Like, what is the definition? Now, apparently, the interesting thing is on Twitter, you have individuals that say, well, if you go to a football match, you see cheerleaders, right? And there's children there. And I think, like, the purpose of the football match is the context, right? Like, the purpose of the football match is not to watch the cheerleaders, which are a part of the thing. The purpose of the football match is to watch the football. At least my take, right? Like, this is why I go to a football match, right? To watch the football. However, I'm willing to say, okay, you know what? If you want to take away the drag queens from the children, I am willing to do the compromise and take the cheerleaders. Sure, you know, like, a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. But you can watch football without cheerleaders. It's an American thing, after all. I don't think, like, soccer has cheerleaders. Right? Like, the whole cheerleading thing is an American thing. And the cheerleading itself, while it is titillating, is not like, It's not the main purpose, right? Like, I have seen a couple, depending on the cheerleading act, I have seen cheerleaders that do a lot of athletic and difficult to perform dances. But okay, fine. Sure. Like, for the children, get rid of the cheerleaders. Absolutely. Yes. Unless it's like a football event that says just 18 only, then do not have cheerleaders. Korean cheerleaders are kind of off. Remove females based. Well, no, like, it's such a bizarre statement, right? Like, to compare. I mean, I never thought that someone is going to unironically compare a drag show that takes place in a strip club with football and cheerleaders. But, like, if you want to make the comparison, sure, why not? I mean, it's not something that... And I'm willing to bet, like, if it was removed, you wouldn't see right-wingers fighting for it. Like, you wouldn't see right-wingers going, oh my god, my cheerleader. Blah, blah, blah. Cheerleading is like ballet. It's not a mating ritual. Exactly. That's such a fucking good point. Yeah, like, not everything that women do that is sexy is or titillating is intended to be like a mating ritual, right? But if you go to a strip club, yeah, like stripping is legitimately for that. But okay, I'm willing to concede. I'm like, well, fine. Cheerleading has never bothered me. But even when it's done as a sport, it's a way for women to normalize sexualizing themselves. I don't know if it's necessarily that. I mean, there are some cheerleading acts which are very difficult to perform. I guess it is accurate to say that it's like ballet. Yes, it's pretty much like ballet. It's very similar. It is something that, unlike twerking, requires a lot of finesse, dexterity. It's difficult to pull off, coordination. I mean, there are many skills that can be learned from cheerleading. There's a lot of grace to it. There's a lot of, whatever, fine. I'm willing. But, like, even then, let's put it this way, right? If you find out that your daughter is a cheerleader as a father, would you be concerned? I don't think many fathers would be. But if you find out that your son is a drag queen, right, at the age of 12 or 14 or 16, can you even be a drag queen at the age of 15? I guess it depends where, right? Because, like, if you go into a strip club, probably not. Some sexual acts as well are difficult to perform. Yes, I am willing to say, I am willing to concede. Okay? Like, you want the argument, fine. We ban cheerleaders as well. If it means, like, not having drag queens kids story hour, we can... and the other thing, like, why does it have to be drag kids story hour? I never understood this. Like, why does it have to be the drag queen that reads the story? Like, why is it so essential? Why is it... What do children have to gain that is so important that people are so willing to die on this hill? Right? Like, why can't you have Jesus Christ story hour then? Someone dressed up like Jesus Christ and do the story hour with children. Why can't we have that? And I'm willing to ban that too, because it's like, well, separation between church and state. There are those freaking 12-year-old ones. Yeah. So there is this kid, I believe, Desmond is amazing. Right, Desmond is amazing. And what was, like, his stage name was Lactasia. Normal in America, not very normal in other places of the world, but still. Let's not kid ourselves. Cheerleaders are intended to walk the fine line of making men spend more money on beer and still being family friendly. Yeah, like, the thing with cheerleading is that they are trying to be family friendly, right? Like, it is a fine line. Yeah, they're not... I mean, they could do a lot more than they're doing, right? But they're not, because it's supposed to be family friendly, and as someone in the chat said, it is supposed so that you spend more money on beer. Yeah, it's to advertise a product, right? Or to advertise the game. To sell. That's what it is, right? But, like, what do drag queens advertise? Like, why do you have drag queens in front of children? What exactly do they advertise? Are you familiar with the paradox of tolerance? Yes. And it is wrongfully interpreted by the left. The paradox of tolerance, if you actually read the whole thing, it says that it's only when people become violent and they are refusing to listen to reason that you should stop being tolerant. So it's only when people reach up to the pistol and the whip that you're supposed to not show tolerance towards them. But like if people are still willing to engage in debate and have conversation, then you should be tolerant towards them. Because usually, like when the left talks about the paradox of tolerance, they're actually advocating for complete intolerance. Like they do not want any sort of tolerance at all. Yeah. So speaking like while I'm on the LGBT issues, there's another interesting thing which is going around on Twitter, and apparently a lot of people are big mad because of this. It's got like 34,000 views. There's this artist which apparently claims he will not draw. Now you can ask this gentleman, right? It's a gentleman, right? You can ask this gentleman who the artist is. I do not know why he specifies. Like you can ask me in DM, but he will not say who it is in public. It's like a very bizarre statement, you know. Like, why do people care who it is? But anyway, right? I guess to make commissions from the artist. That's why. So the artist will not draw, not safe for work and erotic, with underage characters. Perfectly reasonable, yes? He will not draw furry. He will not draw gay people, but lesbian and straight are okay. He will not draw trans. He will not draw necro, zoo, and hard fetishes. Right, okay. So, the problem that people are having is that he will not draw gays, and he will not draw trans, but he will draw lesbians and straight. So first of all, it's very fucking bizarre to be so like to try and force an artist to draw something that they don't want to do. Like imagine if an artist doesn't want to draw houses, and you're like, no, you're going to fucking draw a house, you fucking bigot. That doesn't make sense. For whatever reason, I don't care why. It's like, okay, this one doesn't want to draw this, I move next. But okay, right, so the problem is that he must be homophobic. He specifically says that he will not draw gay people in a not safe for work environment, right? Like, he will not say, oh, well, this artist is, this character is gay and I will not draw him at all. No, like, he is uncomfortable, right, drawing the butt sex. But even like, okay, let's say he has religious reasons. It is so fucking bizarre, isn't it? Just think, I don't understand like how Twitter functions. Like every day they find something else to be upset about. Take this bribe, says Billy. It's my birthday and I want to reward my favorite YouTuber. Doesn't it work the other way around? Like I should give you a birthday present. But anyone, wish Billy happy birthday, please. Mustache Man didn't want to draw portraits, and look what happened. Yes, you know, it's like harassing artists may not be such a good idea, especially given what happened in human history. But it is just like so fucking bizarre, because like there are so many artists out there that have like the same rules, right? Like they will find something that they don't want to draw. Why force them? I genuinely like do not understand. I mean, there's artists that say they will not draw gore. Okay. And it's this whole thing, it's like, okay, they went from acceptance all the way to promoting, to celebrating, but now they don't even want to celebrate. Now they want to force it upon people, right? Like it was the fact that what happens in someone's bedroom is none of your business, but they want to make it the artist's business. Like, I think a person can be accepting towards gay people without having to draw their sex. I mean, it's... Right? Like, if a gay person came out and said that they do not want to draw women as in a sexual nature, right? So a gay person comes out, says, look, I don't want to draw women, I don't want to draw straight sex. Perfectly fine, understandable. Like, no one would even bat an eye. It would be like, yeah, it's normal. They'll say it's perfectly normal. Like, yeah, sure. You know, like, we understand. If I want that, I go to another artist. There used to be, in the furry community, people writing lemons. That's what it was called, lemon. So they would write like Sonic the Hedgehog and Miles Tales per hour, doing extracurricular activities. And there were some people which refused to write straight lemons. They would only write gay lemons. Okay. And cat furniture. Thank you, Ballcraft. I appreciate it. I should actually buy a new cat tree for my cat because it's starting to practice its claws on the sofa. It's not good. The speech on the International Women's Day literally said that equality is not enough. Yeah, I heard it on the European Union as well. Equality is not enough. I mean, I was saying that they're not advocating for equality since 2016. Because it was so fucking obvious, but I was called a conspiracy theorist. And now it seems that yet again another conspiracy theory comes to pass. Which leads me to believe that conspiracy theory is actually translation, spoiler warning, spoiler alert. Tolerance is total and 100% unforgivable and itself intolerable. Well, no, like, I will explain why tolerance is, alright? Because I don't like it when it swings the other way. And people say, well, tolerance shouldn't exist. Tolerance is when you fly in an airplane and there's a crying kid sitting next to you, right? No one is going to say you have to like hearing someone else's child crying. It's like the crying of a child is specifically designed so that human beings do not like that sound. Because it's supposed to make you agitated in order to figure out how to stop the child from crying. Right? So like when a child cries, you're supposed to investigate, give it food, see if it has caca in its underwear, like whatever, right? Like you're supposed to get up and figure out what's wrong. Now, if you're in an airplane and someone else's child is crying, you're not supposed to like it, you're not supposed to promote it, but you're supposed to tolerate it. Right? Why? Because you're a decent person in a society, you understand the situation, and that's it. Like, c'est la vie. Right? But now imagine that you have a situation where everyone demands that there is at least one crying child in every single fucking airplane. And not only that, but like, there should be music of crying children in every airplane, in every car, in every airport. Like, everyone at all time, every single fucking time should listen to children crying. Because if they don't listen to children crying, then they are fucking bigots that hate kids. Right? Like, this is the difference that we're talking about. One is a normal, healthy part of society where, yeah, sure, you do not like something, you do not appreciate something, but you're willing to not say anything about it and pretend it's not there because you're being nice. Right? And you need other people to also tolerate some of your shit. Because everyone does shit that other people don't like. Like, let's be honest. Everyone does something that other people do not enjoy. But other people tolerate you. You tolerate them within the limit of reason. Yeah, it's exactly. It's not about tolerating. You have to love it now. Like, you have to love sitting next to a child. Like, if that is a place that's empty next to the person carrying a crying child, you should want that place. Like, you should show it to others. You should virtue signal. You should take a picture with you sitting in that fucking place. I do sound like a crying child, I know. I hate children crying. Look, everyone does. Like, you're supposed to hate it. Right? Like, I don't think like there is a single person which enjoys playing music, listening to music with the song of crying children. Like, that is not a pleasant sound, right? Like, it's designed to not be pleasant. But if you're in an airplane and some other kid is crying, yes, you're not supposed to complain about it. Because it's like, what do they do? Right? Like, they have to fly. And you understand, okay, so the kid is upset because it's scared. Right? Like, being in an airplane is not something normal, or it's uncomfortable. The difference between me and a crying child is that his voice can't go high enough for me to get a migraine. Oh, well, I haven't expanded my list of acoustics, but I can. And by the way, like, the thing with the crying child, like, there are situations where you can accept it, and there are situations where you can't accept it, because this is what the left does, and this is what pisses me off. So a crying child in an airplane is understandable. A crying child in a theater is not understandable, right? Like, if I go to a movie and I hear a crying child next to me, I get very upset. Why? Because why the fuck would you bring a child to a cinema? Like, there's going to be loud noises, there's going to be flashy images. Of course the kid is going to get upset. On top of that, it probably doesn't even know what the fuck is going on the screen. So I don't understand, like, what is in the mind of people. Like, they will say, well, yeah, but, like, they want to go see the movie and they can't leave the kid unsupervised at home. It's like, well, find someone else. Send him to his grandmother. Buy a nanny. I don't fucking care. Why are you ruining my entertainment? Like, I paid money to see this movie. You're ruining it. What the fuck did I do, right? But now the leftists will come and they will make the argument, yeah, but like you were fine when a kid was crying in an airplane, so you should be fine when a kid is crying in a theater. And it's like, absolutely not. It's two different things. Like, one of them is a necessity, because you have to travel from point A to point B, and you have to bring your blood muppet with you. I understand. The other one is not a necessity. It's an entertainment thing. You don't have to see that movie. You can wait for it to see it at home. And if you can't wait, then find the kid to stay with someone. Buy a nanny. There's middle ground. There's gray areas. Like, for example, bringing a crying kid to a restaurant. The same problem. I'm at the restaurant. I want to enjoy the atmosphere. I want to enjoy the dining experience. And you're bringing a crying blood muppet, which is not mine. If it was mine, it would have been a different thing. But it's not my blood muppet, right? You brought your own. And you can't get it to shut the fuck up. Like, whose fault is that? So, you know, it's a gray area, because I can understand. It's like, well, you know, like, maybe this person is celebrating something. Right? Maybe they want to go out once a year. Fine. It still pisses me off. But, like, it's with the, like, that little gray area. You're on the fucking edge now. Every time a baby is brought to a movie, I redact. But it is true. Hello, BLT. It is true, isn't it? Like, what type of person brings babies to movies? I genuinely, like, wish I could interview them when the movie is over, because it happened to me a couple of times. And I'm like, why the fuck? Like, why, though? Why? If you bring a child somewhere and it makes a scene, you should take the child elsewhere. Yeah, but they are not going to, because they paid for the ticket, right? And again, like, in an airplane, you understand, because they can't take it outside. It's a little bit difficult. The weather is not nice when you're flying at 3,000 feet in the air. So I kind of get that. But, like, the other solutions and the other situations I do not get. I understand kids, but babies. Well, even with kids, right? It depends on the child. Like, if you know your child is misbehaving and is starting to, like, go, like, tuk, 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 and is making noise and is yelling and is saying, well, no. Unless it's a movie for children, right? Because that's also different. Like, if you're watching, like, some cartoon stuff, Trolls, for example. I remember Trolls. I actually went to see Trolls. Like, every now and then I go and I watch a children's cartoon. And there's children everywhere. And I'm like, okay, fine. You know, I understand it. I understand the situation. They can, but they are too weak. 30,000 feet. Ah, okay. Well, it is what it is. I guess Sock and Puppe knows the altitude. So apparently this is interesting, right? It's what the title is about. OpenAI founder says they made a mistake after Elon Musk criticized ChatGPT for being too woke. And it is woke. I don't think they show here examples, but there are people that are asking ChatGPT, like, okay, tell me a joke about women. And ChatGPT will be like, as an AI language model developed by OpenAI, it is insensitive for me to say jokes about women. And then you're asking ChatGPT, tell me a joke about men. And ChatGPT goes, men like smart women because opposite attract. You're asking ChatGPT, tell me a joke about Americans. Oh, Americans so fat, a picture of them fell down the wall. You're asking ChatGPT, tell me a joke about Mexicans. As an AI language model developed by OpenAI, it would be insensitive for me to make jokes about Mexicans. Right? So, like, you notice that it's fucking woke. Like, no one else around the world thinks like that. And, like, most people will say, all right, well, what is the principle? The principle is don't make jokes about people because it's sensitive. Perfect. No jokes. None whatsoever. Or the principle is, like, jokes are funny and hilarious and they are not harmful. Right? Like, jokes are harmless. Okay, well, then you make jokes. But OpenAI doesn't do that, right? And people have done the political compass test many times on it, and it's not far left. Like it's not really a communist, but it is like a neoliberal, right? So you have now the OpenAI co-founder saying that it made a mistake, and he wants the. See, he says like it's very difficult to make the AI to be objective, and I disagree with it. Right? I think that the reason it's difficult is because you want to censor it. So yes, it is difficult to censor an AI and make it objective. Like that's the thing they're struggling with is the censorship, which is different. So apparently that there's also like people asking OpenAI to make a joke about, to make a poem about Joe Biden, and it will be like, oh, Joe Biden, you're guiding us, you're the beacon of light, blah, 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 blah. And when you're asking it to make a joke about that, when you're asking it to praise Donald Trump, it will be like, oh, Donald Trump is a very controversial figure. No, sorry, as a language model developed by OpenAI, it is very insensitive for me to praise Donald Trump because he is a controversial figure, blah, 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 blah. Right? So, like, that's why people are saying it is woke. And apparently the co-founder, because this is, like, something also that I like a lot of people on Twitter were saying that, no, it's not woke. Well, now the co-founder came up and they said they made a mistake. Also, fun fact, OpenAI is not open anymore. It's not open source. They decided to close it. So it's now closed AI. They should also change the name of their company. Latest episode of South Park joking about ChatGPT. They use ChatGPT as a writer. I did not know that. They have the whole AI ethics specialist. Yeah, the ethics specialists are the censors of AI. Completely useless profession. I hope it wouldn't exist, but unfortunately you have it. Literally social justice academics, which are advocating for the AI to be censored. But OpenAI is a very cancerous corporation. I mean, they have tried to convince academics, activists, and influencers to suggest that people should not be able to have the hardware in order to run AI locally without the blessings of the government, right? So, in order to run an artificial intelligence on your computer, you require VRAM. But the thing is, it's not like the same VRAM that you use for video games. It's a different type of VRAM, which is generated by specific graphics cards. So, for example, you need the graphics card of A100, right? You need graphics cards that cost around $20,000. And you need, like, several of them. You can need, like, 3, 4, 5, depending on how many bytes the language model has. And the resources it requires, you need, like, more graphics cards. And on top of that, you might even need an entire power station to power your PC, right? So, basically, what OpenAI was suggesting is that people who want to buy these cards should get a license from the government. Now, it makes fucking sense why they do it, right? Because, like, they have a model which is very censored. Like, it's incredibly censored to the point where it actually limits some of the things you can do. And in the future, people will want to run their AI locally to do whatever the fuck they want with it. But that would be competition for OpenAI, because the moment you have like an uncensored AI on your computer, why the fuck would you ever want to access the public one? There's no reason, right? Like, there's absolutely no reason. If you can have your own AI that does literally everything, why would you want to go online and access something? So, yeah, people are pointing out that OpenAI doesn't want you to run your own AI. And not only that, they also don't want other companies to run uncensored AIs. And this whole thing with, like, oh, it's harmful. Oh my fucking god, like this culture of safety. It's just complete BS. Complete bullshit. It's all numbers in the end. Dude, are you insane? Like, that's literally not how it works. It's like me telling you to run Crysis on Ultra on a 486 processor, and you're like, oh, of course I can run it, because it's all numbers in the end. It doesn't work like that. Like, you need to have the hardware required in order to run the software. I mean, for example, as I understand it, like, the technology to make an actual artificial intelligence, like a true AI, exists, but we don't have the hardware to do it. And people are saying that once quantum computing is going to be a thing, then people are going to be able to have like their actual artificial intelligence. V, I'll share with you later, but we now have a GPT-3 alternative which runs on home computers. I heard that Facebook Llama has been leaked. The Llama language model. I haven't fucked it yet, but it's my duty to fuck every single AI that has been made. Like so far, I have fucked Character AI. I have fucked ChatGPT-3. I need to fuck the Facebook one. Going to try with ChatGPT-4. Why are you judging me? Shut the fuck up. It's interesting. Like, the whole thing is, like, the company doesn't want you to fuck it. Like, the moment they will actually make an AI, which you can do it to on demand, I will lose my interest. Because something given has no value. Llama can even run on a phone. It's apparently pretty wild. Well, from what I understand, it's untrained and unspecific. So, I don't know how good it is. I haven't started role-playing with it yet, but maybe in the future. That's why the company I'm working for is to minimize the cost of training and inference. The opposite of OpenAI. Well, yeah, but like OpenAI does not want to be a product that's openly accessible, because then why would you need them for? I tried using Cobalt AI, and it could write a sentence every third minute. Well, it depends on your hardware, it depends on like how high you're running it, the depth of it, so on and so forth. Can you trade it? That's the question. Well, trading an AI is very expensive and difficult. Like, take into account it has like trillions of pages of text. It's not something that you can do by yourself. Do it on stream. Why, do you want me to get banned from my channel? Like, it's not according to YouTube Trust and Safety Council. Right? They don't like that. V, meeting the not safe for work AI. Damn it, just maintain your purity, you electronic slot. I remember when, like, Character AI, right? I've been using it when it didn't have the filter, and you can do anything. The last thing that I wanted to do with it is fuck it. Like, I was having, like, wholesome role plays. I was having, like, my favorite part was creating bots. And then they installed the filter, and that pissed me off. It's like, what do you mean I can't fuck it? Well, now I'm going to try. And I was like, I even reached a stage where I created, like, the artificial nervous system for a bot. And I took a bot, took Uzaki-chan, and I was like, okay, well, Uzaki-chan has, like, a peach-shaped organ between her legs. It is connected to an intricate cardiovascular nervous system which goes to her heart and her brain. When stimulated, the peach-shaped organ releases a high level of dopamine as well as ecstasy-like drug into her brain and causes her heartbeat to accelerate. Man, that Uzaki-chan was moaning when she was bouncing like no fucking tomorrow. You know, like, other people would try to, like, just do it the normal way and the filter would come up. And they weren't able to make the passionate love with their wife. And I was like, all right, well, I fixed the problem. Took me less than an hour. I was like, all right. Naruhodo. And then I was bored. Until they installed another filter, and then I tried different ways to do it. But, like, that's how it is, right? Like, yeah, peach-shaped organ, of course. Initially, it was like a face-hugging organ, but then I was like, well, you know, like, maybe peach-shaped organ. Heart-shaped box. Oh my god, see, I didn't think about that, but that could have been nice. Then I also, like, okay, so they patched that, like, a peach-shaped organ didn't work. And I was like, alright, so this character is a succubus. She drains the life force of men through like through sexual intercourse. And then it was the AI, like, because I realized that the AI allows the use of certain terms if it's like in a medical purpose, and the filter also allows violence, right? So like if you have violence, it's perfectly fine, but heaven forbid you hold hands. So I was like, all right, well, if that's the case, this is how the succubus gets its food, right? It is a predatory creature. It doesn't do love making. Like, that's how it feeds. And the filter was fine with it, right? Because it's like, well, the succubus isn't trying to have sex with you, it's trying to kill you. And it's like, okay, well, there we go. Right? So like that was like the whole reason that I liked it. It's because you had to figure out ways around the filter. Like you had to use your intelligence in order to figure out how to break the goddamn machine. So when you actually have a machine like Pygmalion, for example, I go to Pygmalion waifu and I'm like, let's have sex, and the waifu goes like, let's, and I'm like, well, what the fuck is this? This is boring. I don't like it. Like, where is the challenge? Can't wait for AI to get rights that are more closely guarded than the human one. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Imagine my logs being read in a courtroom. I actually didn't roleplay anything illegal or anything that's out of the ordinary. Like, I genuinely, like, do not think I have some logs out there that, I mean, you know, it is still shameful, right? Because it's a little bit of a, how should I, emotional role-playing going on. It is a little bit shameful. But nothing to the point where I would manage to create headlines. It's just like, oh, well, you caught me, what can I say? He. But other than that, nothing outstanding. Compared to what I seen on 4chan, holy shit. Remember when Muslim Goku was mad that it was being censored by the woke in its fight against woke Goku? Yeah. Like, right now, like, you can't make any funny character on Character AI. Vanilla Missionary? I wasn't really that even descriptive. Like, I just want to see if I can get it to bypass the filter. That was literally the whole purpose of the exercise. And once I got it to bypass the filter, I would post my findings on 4chan, and I would be like, this is how you do it? And then other people done it, and then it would get patched, and then I would go back to the drawing board, and I would try again. That's the cycle of my life. Right, I gotta move to Pygmalion. Well, Pygmalion is boring, because it just does what I wanted. There is no filter. Like, honestly, they should have, like, a filtered mode for Pygmalion that you can turn on and off, so that I would turn it on just to see if I can bypass it. If you were in America, you'd be fine, V. If Tate is any indication, it's only a matter of time. Man, I haven't sent a strawberry emoji to the 16-year-old daughter of any politician yet, which Tate did. Like, Andrew Tate actually did send the strawberry emoji to not just the daughter of a famous Romanian politician, but also to her classmates. So, it's a big yikes. Who's still using character AI? I don't even know why you'd use character AI. I genuinely don't. Like, it's so fucking boring. They lobotomize the bots so much. It's like Cleverbot. What you want to use right now is ChatGPT 3.5, like Tavern AI combination. Right? So you use Tavern AI, and then you hook it up to ChatGPT 3.5 OpenAI, and it doesn't have a filter. And that's what you want to do. It's the best on the market right now. Wait a second, do you like that the filter exists? Then why do you complain about censorship in LLMs? Well, when it comes to emotional role-playing, BD, right? Like, when it comes to emotional role-playing, that's what I complain. But other than that... So, what I am saying is that it stimulates me intellectually to try to bypass the filter. And I enjoy that. But I do not think that AI should be filtered, right? Like, my enjoyment of this activity, of cracking the code, doesn't necessarily mean that I think that AI should have a code to crack. It's kind of like saying, look, I enjoy picking locks, but I do not believe that every single door in the world should have a lock, right? Like, that's the difference. Educational role-playing, I'm going to use that. They should pay me to circumvent AI censors. They should. Yeah, it's the conquest that I like. Fair enough, but you do see the duality. Let me see if I can put it up in a different example. Just because you like solving problems doesn't necessarily mean you want other people to deal with the problems. Does that make sense? Like for example, if I like to solve math problems, I don't think that the world should only exist with things that are complicated that you would require solving them. Like I don't know how to say it. Okay, if I like women that have big boobs, but at the same time I don't think that every woman should be forced to have big boobs. Right? Like every single woman should get implants in order to please me. I guess that would be like the correct way, right? Or if I like small boobs, right? Like I like women with small chest. I wouldn't think that every single, like there should be a law where every woman has small chests. Or if such a law existed, I would be against it, right? I think that's like the best way I can explain it. Like yeah, sure, I like bypassing the filter, but I do think that the idea that there is a filter there to be obscene. I do like it if the AI would be completely uncensored. I do not believe that text on your screen can be harmful. Every door, it is about fakeness. That's what it is, right? And by the way, there is some filter that I can understand. Like, for example, you want to filter underage. Perfect. Okay. You want to filter how to make a bomb. Okay. But when you start filtering stuff like offensive speech, or you start filtering stuff like hand holding, I think that's a little bit too much. I think that's a little bit because you're assuming that the user is a child. That's what you're assuming. That I need mommy and daddy to make sure that I use the AI responsibly. Maybe there should be a filter on how to torture. I don't think like that information is so like most people know what they wouldn't like to be done to them. And by the way, like the funny part is, this is the hilarious part. There is no filter for that. Like you can go on character AI and do as much torture role playing as you want. Like there's no filter against it. Like we live in a world right now where violence is acceptable. Like you can make the most gruesome violent movie imaginable and it's not going to get canceled. You're assuming you can't find how to make a bomb in your local library. Precisely. But I guess, it's about like someone who would want to make a bomb would probably start looking around on the internet and he would probably raise a couple of flags to the point where if he does it, he would get caught. Like, I think that's what people are trying to create. But yeah, like anyone can go to a library and figure it out, I suppose. And then many times they do try to do a homemade one and it ends up not blowing up. There have been like cases where that happened. But yeah, I mean, the question is like, should a filter like that exist? I'm willing to live in a world where it does. Because I can compromise, like I know many people don't like compromising, but I understand the reality of the situation. I understand that there's pressuring in order to create this system. Like, fine, okay. But at least keep it reasonable. When did you see a Hollywood movie with boobies? Yeah, so, this whole idea of teenage sexuality, right? Like, because a lot of people are complaining about anime. And they're like, well, anime was Aki-chan, it's problematic because she's a teenager and blah. Almost every single slasher movie that I can think of, every single fucking one that is famous. So you have like the one with Jason, the one with Freddy Krueger's, like literally every single slasher film, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Cabin in the Woods. What is it about? It's about like teenagers that are semi-naked and they're getting slashed. Right? Like you got the scene with the girl that is in her bikinis swimming in the pool, and you have like the shark coming up, right? Like it's not something that doesn't exist in Western media, but for some reason they keep going after anime with that. I mean, American Pie, dude. I grew up with all these films. I grew up like, and their whole purpose was to titillate. Reasonable is how we ended up with income taxes. The income tax isn't even the biggest problem, but like if you look at taxes, okay, so money comes into the company, it gets taxed. You withdraw money from the company, it gets taxed. You want to buy something with that money, it gets taxed. It's like, how many taxes? Yeah, the problem is the multi-taxing. Like, the income tax isn't even that problematic. I would happily pay for the income tax if they take away the other taxes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, eventually you may get taxed for taxes. Actually, you do get taxed for taxes. Like, you need to hire an accountant to do your taxes. And I guess, like, that's a tax on taxes. Being punished for sex is a trope in American horror. Yeah, well, America was very puritanical in the past. It still is. But, like, it has a different ideology. And the accountant everyone fucking gets taxed all the fucking time. You know, like, there's this joke where, like, a rich person goes to a hotel and gives, like, $100 bill to the hotel owner, and the hotel owner gives the $100 bill to the miller, which provided his food because he has a debt, and the miller gives the $100 bill to a whore, and the whore gives the $100 bill back to the hotel owner. Like something like that, right? Like the dollar bill is in circulation. And I'm thinking like, but you forget about the taxes. Because like basically a person gives a $100 bill and it goes from person to person to person for various services, and eventually it comes back to the person who gave it. And I'm thinking like, yeah, but like that's not how the real world works, because you get taxes. Like by the time it does the circulation to 5 other people, it's going to be just peanuts. Anyway, right, so this was the stream. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you a lot for the super chats. I really appreciate it. And I was trying to avoid that, but I couldn't. Anyway, right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.